that is worthwhile takes a while. Amen. New wine must be put into new wineskins. Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. When it comes to change, if it's a God change, if it's a change that God is calling you to, it has to come from Him, and you have to trust in Him, and you can't figure it out. Don't try to figure it out. You're in a new dimension. You're in the faith zone now. Okay? When God gives you a dream and puts a dream in your heart and gives you a glimpse of change that He wants to make, it's kind of like the previews of coming attractions when you go to the movie, you know? He doesn't give you the whole picture all at once. You can't try to figure it out on your own, because sometimes it just does not make sense. So you have to walk by faith and not by sight. I've got a friend of mine in Phoenix who is a chiropractor, and he told me how he went to school to become a chiropractor with no money. He just decided he was going to go to school. He had faith that God was calling him to be a doctor. That's what he always wanted to do, and he didn't have the money, but somehow through financial aid, grants, things of that nature, he had the money to go to school. Today he is a chiropractor, and he also is a pastor of a church there. But he told me how when he was in high school, he had one particular counselor, because he went to school in the urban, in the city, inner city, and the counselor asked him, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? He says, I want to be a doctor. And the counselor said, oh, no, that's, Johnny, Gene, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of money, a lot of hard work, and a lot of time to do that. I say, I think you would be good at what don't you think about being a mechanic? And so he says, okay, a mechanic. So he went to work one day for a guy in a mechanic shop, and he said went home, he had grease and stuff all over his fingernails. He said it took him like 2 days just to get all the grease and stuff out of him. He said, oh, this is not for me. So he went on and went to school, and as I said, today he is a chiropractor. But see, if you allow them, other people will change your course, or someone will say to you, that you can't do something, but you can't allow others to take you away from the course that God has put you on. And sometimes we will stray away from God. We will be on the path that He wants us to be on, and we'll stray away. And you'll say, well, where's God? Well, God is right on the same path that you left Him on when you decided to take a turn and go in a different direction. So you need to get back on that path, and that way Satan will not be able to take that hedge of protection away from around you. But when you're in God's will, you have that hedge, and once you get out of that hedge, only God can bring you back in. Amen. The necessity of change. There's a serenity prayer that goes something like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. See, there's some things that you cannot change. You cannot change your past. And it says, give me the serenity, give me the peace of mind to accept the things that I cannot change. You cannot go back and change your childhood. You can't go back and change the hurt and the things that you may have gone through in earlier years. You cannot go back and change that. All you can do is change your reality, have the courage to change the things that you can change. And as I said, it's not going to be easy sometimes. Adversity and hardship is going to be a part of that change, and you just have to realize from the beginning. And Paul says to us in Philippians chapter 3, verses 13 and 14, no, dear brothers and sisters, I am still not all I should be, but I'm focusing all my energies on this one thing. Somebody say one thing. On this one thing, and that is forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. So you here at Makakilo, don't forget about the past. It's a lot of good memories, good things there, but you need to be focusing all your energies on what lies ahead, because I know God has an awesome plan and a purpose for this church body. So don't consult your past about your future. Consult your faith about your future. What does God say about your future. Jeremiah 29:11 tells us that, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Your past may tell you, I'll never try again. Your past may tell you, I'll never trust again. I'll never love again. My past tells me not to. My faith tells me how to. My past can make me bitter, but my faith can make me better. But at some point, we must change. But we must remain constant in the things that we believe. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians 15:58, therefore, my brothers, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor is not in vain. When it comes to our faith, we must remain constant. Regardless of who comes in here to lead this flock, you must make sure above all that your faith remains constant and you remain strong in your faith, even though the pastor or the leader or the shepherd may change. Our work for the Lord must never change. And when this new wine comes into this old wineskin here, we have to remember to try to be a little bit pliable. Make it a little bit easier for the man. Don't make him come in here and thinking he's going to burst through this wineskin, to burst this body with his new wine. Your old wine, you're a wineskin. You're the same people that's been here all the time. But sometimes we need to change. We need to start thinking about change. Some of you that's been sitting here for years, when knowing God's calling you to ministry or to do something, but just haven't stepped up, now might be the time. You might need to help this guy out by changing. Sometimes the wineskin has to become a little more pliable. You can't just put it all on the new wine coming in and saying, I'm not going to change. I'm just going to sit here until I burst. Well, you might want to think about making some changes, because change is necessary. And in our own personal lives, the thing is we always have expectations. We have expectations of where we think we're going to be or where we thought we would be. Our expectations are up here, but our reality is down here. We say that, well, by the time I'm 50 years old, I want to be here, but you take around and do an honest assessment of where you're at, and you're down here. Your reality does not meet your expectations. So what do? Do you change your expectations? No, that would be the easy way. You could just say, well, I'll just accept less. I'll just expect less. I'll just become hopeless. I will just become helpless. But what you need to do is to change your reality to meet your expectations. And how do we do that? Dream again. Dream again. I know some of us, when we become older, we get set in our ways and we kind of lose our dreams. Would you ever notice how children, when we were kids, we used to dream about unimaginable things? Anybody ever dream they could fly? I know I did too. Boy, how many bruises and bumps have I gotten on my body with a towel around my neck, thinking that I was Superman and that I could fly. I believe I could fly. No, but of course, did not fly. But we have to dream, and I'm talking about a God-sized dream. And when God gives you a dream, it's like I say, it's a preview to the things that He's calling you to do. When we were kids, we used to dream big dreams, but now, if you're not careful, instead of dreaming about unimaginable things, you begin to dream about common things like shopping. I dreamed I was driving down the street. That's not a dream. That was reality. You have to have a big dream. And if you're not careful, your reality will change your dreams. So rather than your dreams change your reality, so instead of dreaming the imaginable, you will dream about the common things. But when God puts a dream in your heart, it's a preview of things to come. God says in His word that in the last days I will pour out my Spirit on all flesh. Somebody say, all flesh.